very excited. We're heavy holders. Welcome to the 6Ks. We've been waiting for you guys a long time. We've been waiting to help. We wanted to help a couple weeks ago before all the bullshit, but then we also were out here fighting a lot of fudders. We were beating up a lot of fudders. We've been holding it down. We got a lot of heavy investors in here, and we've been promoting, studying, and trying to understand Statera for a long time. We like to call her Princess Empress Sarah Statera, sometimes Sexy Sarah Statera. But yeah, man, it's a good time. So which one of you guys, I'm 6K, which one of you guys are who's who that we have from the team right now?
I'm here, Derelict, on Telegram on GC.
What's your name? Sorry, what was it?
Derelict on Discord, and then on TG, I'm a GC.
So that's Ghost Hunter talking?
No.
Yeah, I am. I'm here.
But that was Derelict. Derelict's one of the guys from the team. Yep. And then.
Okay, cool. And Derelict, what was your role, real quick, from the team?
I'm a community supporter. I'm part of the team, helping mostly with visioning and marketing and things like this.
Okay, cool.
Engaging with the community.
And then Ghost Hunter, is that my boy Abu?
Yes, it's me.
What's up, brother? Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having this hammer with Statera. We know you've want to have this in a long time, but we just have to do the right thing at the right time. I'm sure you understand.
Hey, no problemo. Todo bueno. Yeah, what's up? Tu parles français? No. Abu.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You speak French, bro?
Nope. I don't speak French. I don't speak French at all.
You have a little bit of an accent. You have a nice accent, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah. So who else do you guys have here from your team today?
Paul is with us. Yeah.
Paul is with you guys?
Yes, he's with us.
Nice. And so the Ryan guy is no longer with the project. That's somebody else we were talking to.
Yeah, Ryan is no longer with the project.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So what if you guys don't mind, we've been recording our AMAs, okay? So we've been recording our AMAs, like we just did one with Bank Teller, and we've done a couple other ones. And we definitely just wanted to invite you guys in to just speak your piece. We want to know all about Statera. We had some guys come in here with FUD that used to be some of your old community members. Came in here the other day, and they were doing, at one point they were coming in here promoting Statera, and then they came in another time promoting something else. And we said, hey, get out of here. They were using the same things, but we want to hear directly from you guys what's going on. And if you guys don't mind, we'll be recording. And then, if there's anything after we record that you guys would say, hey, can you edit this or that out of the recording? We're open to that. So are you guys against that?
I'm personally okay with it. I don't know. Derelict, are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, cool.
Paul?
Wonderful.
All right, cool. So real quick, let's alert the chats. Wow, we got a lot of people in here. Let's alert the chats. Let's get everybody else in here. Where's Wake? Let's see. Give us one moment, okay? We're going to get some more of our people here. If you guys want to get some more of your people, that's fine. Everybody can go out and grab some of the team and make sure everyone's here.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
No problem. Give me one moment.
That's nice. Can I make you a grilled cheese?
Nice. We got a lot of joins recently. Welcome everyone new to the 6K server.
Yeah, I hope that everybody that's coming over from Telegram enjoys what we have here. And if you are coming over from Telegram, put that over and say, hey, I'm joining from Telegram.
Yeah, if you guys are new, this server is run on contribution in and contribution out. We all try to share a lot of value here. We don't do no locker room talk. We fuck around and we have a lot of fun. We make some nice memes sometimes, but really we're not here trolling, bullshitting each other. We basically just share and compile data at all times of the day.
It's all about help.
Yeah, at all times of the day, we're making trades, researching applications, researching protocols and new tokens, trying to speak to devs, getting insider opportunities, insider information, and whatever else we can. And executing.
There's a lot of different people here on the team, between technical analysts, people that are really good at spotting fundamental gems as well. We have blockchain analysts. We have a development team here. Very well-rounded community of people here.
We have a marketing team as well. It's a really nice place to be. It's a very, very nice place to be. And give me 1 second here. Alert the chats. We're live with Statera. Alert the chats. The princess is here. The empress. The queen. Sexy Sarah Statera. Let's go. Let's go. Do we have everybody up in here?
Okay, any of the new people who joined, they'll be floaters, so they can't actually send messages in the voice text.
Yeah, so if anybody who's just joined, you guys have a floater roll. If you guys want to,
just called in sexy Statera.
if you guys want to talk, if you guys want to type, if you guys have questions,
are you eating Legenders or something?
I'm finishing my breakfast before we get started. If you guys want to type before we start the AMA, if you guys want to talk or ask questions during the AMA, I think we can host the conversation in general. Will be the best place for everybody to get in their input or questions. I'm sure we'll open it up at some point.
Floors can post in general as it is, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the regular general. Yep.
All right, alert the chats, man. Just alert the chats. Let's give everybody 2 more minutes to pile in, I think. And we should be good. 2 more minutes for everybody to pile in. Wake's not here. Where's Wake? Jeez.
I'm trying a different mic. Does this one sound all right?
Sounds good.
Great, thanks.
Actually, sounds really good.
A little bit like the napping, Mom.
What was that?
Oh, yeah. It's basically the same thing. We're just doing it digitally.
A lot of traffic from Cache Creek to here. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. It was worse than in town.
One second here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 5. We've got 50 people on the voice. 52 people.
Screenshot.
Yeah, man. I'm really happy that we were able to get this together. This is dope.
Alert the chats. Alert the chats.
54. Welcome, one and all. We're glad to have you on.
Memes. We got big Statera memes coming out in the public chat, in the general chat. Let's see, where is our Statera memes? Let's go. The Balenciaga balancer, the queen herself, the Balenciaga balancer, aka Thanos, the Empress Princess. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, everyone. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good.
I don't know.
All right, everybody, buckle your seatbelts. Q, you got the record? You got the recording set up ready?
I'm also recording this live on my stream.
Okay.
And I'm letting people know they can join the Discord below my stream, which is the 6K Discord. All right.
Cool. Yeah. So let's start it off, and give me one more minute here. Sitting down at my computer. I'm gonna shoot this thing from the hip. Shoot it from the hip. Everybody do what you need to do. Grab some water. Stretch your legs. Take a deep breath.
Get your cup of tea. Get your cup of tea, a biscuit.
Get your cup of tea, your biscuit. Yeah, get your cup of tea, your biscuit. Let's light some incense.
My Fruit Loops.
Light some incense. Get your crystals out. Say your morning meditation. Say your prayers. All right. Let's get the resonance going. We got a positive space here. It's an honor to be here with the community. This is history right here. Crypto history. Crypto DeFi history. This is amazing. This is amazing. We're really so honored and happy to have y'all here. The one and onlys. The founders, the Dr. Frankensteins of the robot princess, the AI, the queen of the blockchain, sexy Statera. Statera. Let's go. We're so excited. Everybody get your big doints. Get your cups. Roll your cigarettes. Do whatever you do. Let's go. Let's get it going, man. It's a vaporwave party. It's a cypherpunk party. Let's get it, man. The queen herself, the Balenciaga balancer. So, yo, first things first, in the building, we have the developers of Sarah. This is another 6K session, 6K podcast. 6K podcast, episode 3 with Statera, the Stateras. Now, we got in the building, we have Abu. We have, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, but real quick. So, we're the 6K Work Week. We're some big investors. We love, we love DeFi products. When we found your product, I was up in the middle of the night, right? So it was 6K was up in the middle of the night. A lot of people have constantly people finding calls and looking at different things, looking at different types of calls, right? But it was one of these nights I was up by myself. Everybody's always sharing all types of, but I stumbled on you guys' website. And when I was looking at the website, I said, this is kind of crazy. This is like a decentralized index fund. And I was looking at the website, and it was so simple, And the first thing that caught me about Statera was, at that time, we were big promoters of balanced trading. So if you guys don't know, like in this group, we teach a lot of people how to do risk management and how to just develop like a simple trade strategy for getting started with trading. And that's actually how I started having success in DeFi tokens. Was I wasn't picking profit targets or specific entries or exits. I was basically strictly trading off my balance. So I would have a primary number of each asset that I was holding. I would understand the value in USDC. Every time my value was going up, I was shaving up that profit. And every time I'd see something else in my portfolio that was down, I was re-entering that profit. So I was basically balanced trading. And this was something we were saying to ourselves over and over again. Hey, we're balanced trading. We're balanced trading. And, we're big fans of numerology. We're big fans of signs. And, I think we're the most esoteric chat in crypto. We like to call ourselves the totem of the crypto space. All the investors and developers, you guys got to come check in with the shaman space, But when we saw Statera, so I saw it in the middle of the night. But I stayed up all night looking at it. I was telling a couple of these guys, I said, hey, this is really special. There's something really sick about this thing. And everybody's like, yeah, we're looking for moonshots, whatever. We're looking for moonshots. But then by the morning time, I got excited. I invested in it. I said, you know what? When I read Statera, and it said Statera means balance. Statera is balanced trading. Encourages liquidity encourages the traders, and then the liquidity, creates more liquidity. And it was so simple, but I felt like it was so over people's heads. Yeah, I felt like it was so over people's heads. I said, you know what? This is a gem. This is an actual gem. And I had this weird 6K cents, my 6 cents that I hadn't had in a long time, right? And I said 6K Statera, okay, 6 Statera. And I went ahead in the morning, I invested in it, and it has been my only really, you know, I got a lot of people in the team that find gems and shit, but it was my first and only 6K call of the month. And that was earlier this month, or maybe a little bit last month, right before she did a big, what did she do? Like an 8X or something big. Anyways, we had a couple huge days trading Statera. And the thing that we got the most excited about was we were balance trading with the contract. So those first few days where there was a lot of volume, it seemed like at the same times we were taking profit, the contract was taking profit. And at the same time we were reinvesting, you know, just trading our balance. She was trading her balance at the same time. And like,
People
we were
are
just
asking
having
if I'm there.
we were having a who? Yeah, we're here. We're all here. We were having a lot of fun trading Statera, and it's almost, you know, the concept of the balancer trading itself is just really, really interesting. That's what we were so enthusiastic about, the concept of the burn token. And, you know, it's actually was quite exciting to be trading a token and then on the back end to know that this thing was, you know, either counter trading us or in certain instances, maybe trading with us. So that's basically our introduction. You guys can talk about the mechanics. We're interested to know what the mechanics are, what the origin story is, where it came from, these AI aspects. Where do you guys see this thing going? Whatever you guys want to talk about. But I'm going to let you guys open it up now. You guys can introduce your team, introduce yourselves. And I'm especially interested to hear from Abu and, you know, your genesis story for this whole thing. And thank you guys for being here and welcome to the 6K Work Week. We're so happy to have you here. 6K snaps, everyone. Let's get it. Welcome.
All right. 6K, the entire 6K community. Thank you for having us. It's really nice. You know, the first time you came into our group and demand for an AMA, we were like, "Who are these guys? I mean, where did they come from?" And you know, that was a that was a little bit of you know, trouble down there.
Yeah.
Until days later, we got to do some investigations and found out that okay, it's a cool group. It's fine. We are going to have an AMA with them anytime we have a little bit of small schedule. You know. Statera, the idea of index deflationary token, it was something Scott have dreamt of, you know, for quite some time. With his previous projects, Bomb, you know, it all started there. It all started with the deflationary project. You know, after Bomb, a lot of developers want to experiment what a deflationary token is. And a lot of developers try to, unfortunately, you know, most of the deflationary project at that time failed. That was when Bond was actually born. So the idea of index deflationary token was something we thought of first in 2018. We experimented with bond rebalance. You know, that time there was no balancer, the artificial intelligence we are currently using right now. So it was more of a work for us, and things didn't work out as we want it to. So we just had to abandon the project for some months, and you know, the dev was actually thinking of how to go around it. Plus the fact that he's into some other personal business of his own. So later we were introduced to balancer, and we were like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. So Scott experimented with some tokens, and it all went well. So that was how Statera was born. And I believe a lot of guys in here knows about the first parts of early days of Statera. At the beginning, it was just me, Scott, and another guy from the group, MMK, you know. But later, when Statera was launched and after a lot of issues have been settled, we got so many community members joining Statera team, wanting to help the project with developments. That was how Paul, Derelic, and the rest of the team got in. And it has been so helpful having them on board, having them help Statera develop. We have done so many things in such a small or such a little amount of time, and we are still going to do a lot of things. So I will leave it over to Derek to give more info about the tokenomics and the rest of the technical part of the project. I'm sorry, my English is not very fluent, so I believe it will be more convenient to introduce that aspect.
No,
It's
you're
brilliant.
good. Real good. Real quick. First, I wanted to just ask you, Abu, how do you feel now that you have this thing on the blockchain? How do you feel? How does it make you feel? Like, are you excited about it? Does it kind of amaze you? Because I'm kind of very intrigued and amazed by the project itself. Like, I feel like almost like it's kind of like a futuristic, like something I've seen in a dream before, was waiting for a long time. How do you feel about the project? Just, like energetically, besides all the technical stuff, and how do you feel about the project?
Yeah, I feel very good, very great. Being with Scott for probably almost a year now, I've learned a lot of things from him. You know, and having Statera succeed, I am really, really excited, really, really excited because we have worked out a lot and spent a lot for this to actually succeed, and we are happy that we got it rolling, and we are still going to do better. So I'm really, really excited about this.
Uh-huh. How do you feel about the time we're in right now? What phase do you feel like we're in? It seems like in the chart we've had a little bit of a consolidation period. What do you feel about this phase we're in now? Where do you see us going next?
Personally, I think we still have a lot of things to achieve. We still have a lot of things to achieve, and we are currently working on things to make sure we deliver what the community expects from us. A lot of issues have been going on regarding the project, or Scott, or me, or any other members of the team. To be honest, we are not essentially bothered about those issues right now because we believe it will distract us from developing the projects even more. So we are much more focused on developing the project, much more focused on bringing things that will invite new investors. So we are really, really bothered about that than the frauds and everything. Of course, we need to address the fraud, and we have been addressing the fraud, but the project development needs to continue. So we are much more focused on that aspect right now.
Yeah, that's good. We're not really worried about it either. And you know what they say, a dog doesn't bark at a parked car. You know what I mean? So if the dog's barking, you're obviously moving. You have people cloning the project. It's going to happen. It's always going to happen in the space. We try to encourage a lot of our investors and people to, really get confident about the things you invest in, have an opportunity to have some posture and a spine when these things are happening so that you understand fundamentally, where these things have the potential for long term. But yeah, we're not worried about the FUD at all around here. What we like about Statera, about our princess, is that she's a finished product. Essentially, she's a working product that's on the blockchain. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys are still developing and things like that, but as of now, it's something that it's working. The balancer, she's doing her thing. It's very interesting if you guys want to talk about that, to see the way she's been scaling her liquidity and trading her bags. And yeah, it's like we can have faith. We've had faith in the balancer, and in the token burn. And so that's been the cool thing for us,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your support.
Thanks for that intro, Abu. And yeah, I think when you take a step back and you look at what we have here, the ideas behind it, and sorry everyone, I'm derelict. Without doxing myself, I do have where I'm coming from in the project is really helping where I can, and just seeing where my skill set fits in. Classically educated, went to Ivy League school, background in economics. My current job wouldn't necessarily love that I'm dabbling in this space. So a little bit about where I come from and where my head is at. And much like you, 6K, when I started reading up on the project and started thinking about it, and start laying out just the basics, right? The simplest ideas are the ones that usually cause the most damage to the traditional finance mechanisms. And so when you look at that idea of a deflationary index fund, like you have to take a step back and like lay it out in front of yourself to even understand what that means. And I'm even just starting, you've seen some of my answers on the AMA and things like that, and they seem really fleshed out and thought out, but there's still an edge there that I'm not getting and still trying to grasp. But I know it's an asset. And we've seen that with balancer pools, right? If we're top 40 in liquidity, but we're top 10 in volume, that means something's happening, right? That means something's going right. And that idea around arbitrage and providing for tighter spreads and providing for better fees from the exchange user and for other pools to rebalance quickly and efficiently, that service that we provide to the balancer pools, I think is worth whatever extra boost our own pool gets. It's a symbiotic relationship where we're working together and synergizing. And I think there's this, I'm still fleshing this out, but there's this central thread of this incentivizing of holding in a deflationary index fund, where if you get in early and you're at that higher supply, the longer you hold, the more the supply goes down, the more you're incentivized as a holder to continue holding, and the more rewards you get as you're holding the balancer pool, or even if you just hold Statera, the more you're getting from the reduction in supply. And so it's really, it's a brand. It's built on loyalty. Loyalty is what this is all about. And that brand and building the marketing, building the education, because it's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for the whole team when we look around and we see the vision. We see where this is going and see the value proposition. But the rest of the world doesn't see it and just sees a Uniswap launch and just sees the deflationary token and just wants to FUD it to the ground because they don't take a step back and actually take a second to look at the technology. And it's really this is a brand new way of investing. Like, this will change how you invest in cryptocurrencies. And will change investment on a global scale because you can apply this to the real world, especially once you get into oracles. And once that happens, the idea of a deflationary ecosystem, I put this in one of the AMAs, but this idea of STA benefits each pool it is in, but then each of those pools benefits STA. So betting on STA, the token, you're betting on the whole ecosystem and it growing and it continuing to operate efficiently, which it will because, it's a release contract. It's been audited. There's no way to undo it or to change it or to adjust it. And everyone with this decentralized mechanism, everyone is incentivized to make it work. If you act against the system because it's decentralized, because there's no centralized party, you're only hurting your own share in it. I'm so excited for you guys to see the work that we've been doing in the way that we're laying this out. Because how I'm talking now is what you're going to be reading, and it's really gonna, it's gonna click. And for some of you, it's already clicked. You already see it. But for the wider audience, there is real meat here, and the hunt is on. So this is super exciting for me as a team member, and I joined early because I got that vision, and now it's just about making others see that vision.
If I have something to add into this, that something that I was talking about earlier today with a couple of the other members here, that I kind of had a vision that, right now, the only hedge out of a cryptocurrency is like a US dollar tether or a USDC. And those pose certain centralized risks that, depending on the size of your account, you might not want to necessarily hedge into tether or USDC. But I actually see these balancer pools as a way that as things are moving up in price, let's say Statera is, on a tear, and you want to actually take profit, instead of coming out, you can actually just go into the pool. That's a good hedge. Does that kind of make sense? I just see that as like a great new thing that doesn't really exist in cryptocurrency, just on that level as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a product that hedges your bets. And you've already heard a lot of people talk about locking in your gains for Statera. But conversely, You're also locking in your gains for Link or for BTC. And so, yeah, you're totally right. There's, I mean, you know, USDC and some of those more legitimate ones are definitely a safer hedge if you want to hold steady. Although with the dollar and with federal policies as they are, who knows how safe that really is. We'll see in the next 3 to 5 years. Sorry, what?
I mean, because what I was saying is like, you know, if you were able to break into the assets of the class and provide liquidity instead of just dumping into USDC, and you actually just provide even liquidity for the pool, and you actually make those dividends in the balancer token or BPT, depending on which pool you are entering, which then is in a sense kind of like, well, that's a hedge because you're gaining some sort of dividends actually off that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that Statera is an important part in that because it increases your fees and increases the ability of your pool to rebalance. And something like impermanent loss that can happen when holding liquidity or providing liquidity can be offset if you're getting more fees. So I think, you know, Statera makes that even more powerful, that mechanism. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so let's talk maybe a little bit about roadmap. So where you guys were coming from, benchmarks, and maybe some of the things where we're going. Let's not be shy here. I mean, we're all already pretty excited. And I think one of the things we wanted to gain from you guys today is just posture and, you know, more excitement, you know, more things to look forward to. And we really want to focus on all the positive things that you guys see happening. Does somebody want to piggyback on that?
Yeah, I mean, for that long-term vision, you know, it's tough. We have a lot of things in the work, and we want to release a finished product as far as the roadmap goes, and have that very clear and know that it's the right direction. When you see it, some things are going to click for you, and you're gonna say, "Oh shit, that is where this should go." Oh shit, that is a great addition right there. Yes, that's exactly. There's going to be some things in there that definitely. You know, if you start looking at the wider DeFi space and start thinking about some of the mechanisms that support in this system and think about how they might apply to Statera, you might guess them before we release it. But what I will say is the idea is to build out that ecosystem where everything is synergizing as much as possible off of itself. And creating as much of those self-fulfilling loops as you can, which you see in our new product of Statera Liquidity, the new liquidity mining pool. That idea of bringing the BPT from the original and putting it into the next pool. And, you know, it's a bit of an experiment, right? Nobody's done any of this before. We're a first mover. And so we'll monitor closely, but we think the economics make sense on paper. And we think the math makes sense on paper. And so as you see us continue, what you're going to see is new products with wider spread, and more of making it easier to onboard and easier for people to jump into these pools, which you've already seen us do with things like BPT and making that easily accessible on Uniswap. You know, we were one of the first to do that and to give that a token symbol and try to make it as easy as possible. And that is, our head is really in that space of how do we lower that on ramp as much as possible and get as many people into the ecosystem and have them start using these products. So long term, I mean, obviously more exchanges, obviously more products, and a more coherent product with a clear, a clear mission and vision that we're driving on every day, and a roadmap that matches that mission and vision. And if you go back and read some of the AMA answers, you'll catch some Easter eggs in there. I don't want to call them out exactly, but if you go back and read that, I think they've all been put in a Word doc at this point. There's definitely some Easter eggs in there where you'll read something and be like, oh shit, this is where they're going. And you know, that will be released very soon. I know a lot of people say that, you know, soon trademark, but it's getting fleshed out. But we also want it to be the right moves and to have it vetted by as many people as possible and as many skilled people as possible, and make sure it's high quality.
I've got a question. With the new liquidity mining pool, will you be making it as accessible as the BPT token? Will you be doing something like that?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's pretty interesting. So the BPT is somewhat becoming obsolete, right? Because that was really a way of buying someone else's liquidity, and so you aren't increasing the liquidity of the pool, so it wasn't ideal for us. And you know, it's ideally the person who gave it to you is arbitraging or doing it, or just doing altruistically for the ecosystem and going and providing more liquidity through the 4 token method, and then providing more BPT. But you would need an altruistic actor to be doing that, or to create some spread there. And so with the release of the 1 token method on Balancer, that's really that's the way we want people on ramping, and that's the way we want people getting BPT. Now that you can do it with any one of the tokens. So the plan is to start funneling and channeling people through the 1 token method, because that's way more powerful for the ecosystem, as far as actually adding liquidity itself to the system rather than just exchanging it between users. So the hope is to move to that. But longer term, and here's another Easter egg, but longer term, we do see the need or importance of BPT being something that people can easily understand and acquire and identify. And so we want it to be quickly and easily sent between individuals. And so that's definitely something we're thinking about. But right now, especially at the Genesis, and especially as we're trying to build this up and make it larger and continue that first mover and network effect, we really want to see that one click liquidity being the new on ramp, and making that as simple as possible. And we're working on some how to's and some supports for that.
Awesome. Thanks for the answer. Great.
Interesting. And then, so how about the initial market making of this token? How did the market making start? And then, if you can provide us some insights into what we're seeing something that, like you said, it really hasn't happened before, and it's really interesting to watch the balancer, especially those first few weeks when it was scaling liquidity by 100,000 a day. What were some of the things that we're seeing here? Because I know there's some peculiar stuff happening as far as the trades that the balancer is making itself and its profitability amongst Statera, maybe the coin burn rate. There's some things we're seeing, and maybe potentially some expectations and price metrics that we're realizing due to underlying tokenomics.
I mean, if Paul or Abu are catching what you're picking up on, but if you want to say more simply or directly, I'm not really getting where you're poking at.
Pardon me. Okay. So I guess we'd be interested to know about the market making process. So how was the liquidity and all these things incepted, and then just things that we're observing about how the liquidity is scaling itself. How the balancer is trading. Is it trading profitably? It seems as though it's trading profitably. And then maybe how this is affecting the floor and support levels of the token.
Gotcha. I would defer to Paul on that one, but Paul, if you want me to take it, I can give it my best stab. All right, sounds like I got the sword. So yeah, as we look at what's happening, obviously our pool is highly profitable and gaining a lot of fees and producing an incredible amount of volume on the platform. And as we're thinking about that and how it benefits balancer pools, and honestly, some of seeing what fees you're getting and things like that, I think balancer pools are working on and making it more visually understandable and easier to see. You really got to dig into your wallet address or into smart contracts or into what the transactions are to really see what the fees are you're getting. Something like Uniswap ROI or a website like that are working on some of the easier front ends to see what you're really making. And so almost a better question for balancer pools for the specifics. All we know is that we're seeing positive results and seeing higher returns than other pools, especially when you look at our size. And I don't want to throw shade here because Balancer Pools is incredible and an amazing small team. But I think there is some truth to the idea that, we're the the battle against these deflationary tokens who are in the ecosystem is because they are highly effective. And again, I think the benefit to the whole system is worth it. We're seeing in the market making, and we're seeing in how the exchange is interacting, how other pools are interacting with deflationary pools. They do create a lot more arbitrage, a lot more volume, a lot more trades to happen, which if you are an exchange that wants to give people an asset for another asset, that's exactly what you want. And if you're an exchange that is balancing multiple pools, then that's what you want to see. And so right now we're happy with all data we've seen. And we, if balancer pools doesn't move on it and doesn't make it easier to see and understand the arbitrage that is happening or the fees that are coming in, that's something that we're thinking about how to make the value proposition clearer. And even when you see with our new liquidity pool, airdropping those liquidity tokens from Uniswap to our early liquidity providers, we're trying to make the payback of these new tools clear early, and that is somewhat altruistic to give back to the community, but also the community is making us able to do that, and so we're making sure they see that by then airdropping those rewards back to them, and so it's it's an education gap of really filling in the holes for people as we go along, and I'm sure I didn't answer the math or the specifics on, the numbers for you as much as you would like.
No, that was actually perfect. But how about the floor, right? It seems like we're seeing some type of that as we're approaching, dips and lows, assumptively the contract is coming in, the pool is coming in and attempting to buy up those dips, burn the token, and hold these floors. And we are seeing that when we have been bottoming out, it does seem like there is some momentum coming in from the contract itself, helping to increase the token's price autonomous.
In addition to what Derek mentioned, the way balancer works, it's very complicated. It involves some serious advanced mathematical calculations, some of which I am yet to understand myself. So I will advise to look into how balancer works to understand how the artificial intelligence do the trading behind the scenes. But yes, it has been helping Statera in some ways, but plus the sell pressure and the fact that everybody wants to pull, and the only or the most easy accessible way to do that is to pull through Statera. It's also trading is a form of trading against the artificial intelligence itself. So it's like a war between the users and the artificial intelligence. So it's just really an interesting concept we are also observing ourselves.
Yeah, and I would say, we Statera will not, in a bear market, Statera is gonna bear, right? It's not gonna, go against the entire market, obviously, and we've seen some pullbacks. And as the market goes bull, you're gonna see Statera bull really hard. At least is our math and our guess, looking at the economics. And I think if you look at them closely too, you'll see the same. And so it's definitely that floor is there, but as the market is dropping its own floor, then obviously Statera will drop its floor too. But you're more diversified, especially now with the liquidity pool. You're now Statera is secondarily connected to that liquidity pool through the BPT, and so as even those other tokens appreciate, they will help Statera by pushing up the Statera BPT, which will then buy the 5 tokens in the original pool, boosting the price of STA. So as we create more products and get more diversified, we will see even less volatility and even more positive price pressure as we diversify our products. And so in this early stage, what I'm saying is, since we have not so many tokens, as those singular individual tokens are seeing big pullbacks or downward movement, it's obviously we're going to use Statera to buy those, which is good for you if you're providing liquidity. So please continue to provide liquidity. It helps you and it helps us while also buying STA. And there was some, miscommunication and some missteps along the way of saying to use like STA2 pool, which was a very negative self-hurting cycle that we created. And so we fixed that communication, and our link is number one for what we would want you to use. But if you use anything other than Statera to pool, it's much better for the environment, for our ecosystem. And so that was another issue, is that a lot of people were selling their STA, which was creating downward pressure to pool, which was good for them to be in the pool and to be more diversified, but bad for the individual price of STA.
Interesting, yeah.
You know, just listening to all this, and you know, this to me just seems like the buy of a lifetime. I mean, I don't really see how this isn't a buy of a lifetime at these prices. You know, I don't know. Maybe I just understand this better than some of the other people that have. You know, I'm very enthusiastic. I can only just basically jump out of my chair right now.
Yeah, and I will say, it's. I mean, some of the memes, of it being like a money printing machine, or just like automatically, obviously with any, low cap, anything, stock, company, or crypto, there's obviously risks. And, this is brand new. You just don't know. But personally, I am also very bullish on this. And I think it's up to us as a community to start bringing more people in and making them see that. And I see some of the negativity that happens in the community, or the fighting of trolls. And I mean, if you see Apple in 2000 and you see the vision, and you maybe have an inkling that they're going to go for the iPhone, explain that to someone else. You're going to have a screen in your pocket and be able to do all this. They might say, shut up, nerd. Like, what are you talking about? And you can answer back by cussing them out and be like, well, forget you aren't going to make money, get out of here. Apple's going to be worth billions. But then, right. You end it, and you didn't convert them. But if in our online forums, instead, we're just fighting that trolling with facts, and just go, well, read this. Well, look at this. Well, what about this? Then that's immortalized. And anyone who goes back to that conversation, that's the joy of the web. It's all up there forever. Anybody who goes to that will see us responding with actual facts and actual value propositions, instead of degrading it to these, because a lot of the pump and dumps and a lot of the Uniswap, not rug pulls, are having people doing this and just bashing people down because, they want to create a cult that is just doing this and being blind that there is no value proposition, but there's a real value proposition here. And honestly, I can't even begin to comprehend how big the value proposition is. But it's all about asymmetric risk. You just have to look at, with any crypto, you can lose 100% for sure. But with many, not all, many cryptocurrencies, you can gain 100,000%, 200,000%, like literally, right? If you look at, Bitcoin is the best performing asset ever.
2 million%.
Yeah. And so, I'm not going to tell you to put your, liquidate your 401k and put it all on STA because it's a sure shot and nothing's going to go wrong. But I am saying putting a chunk of your portfolio that you're willing to see go down, it's a very asymmetric risk where the reward is huge, and the risk is 100%, which is everything. You gotta be ready for that. But you also gotta know you can add some zeros to that and turn it into a plus sign, instead of that negative sign. So yeah, I'm right there with you. It feels like trying to explain a technology that people are going to get angry at first and just say that's bullshit. And there's, Deflationary Index Fund, like on the surface, if you said that to Paul Tudor Jones, he's already in Bitcoin, he would still tell you like that doesn't even make sense. But as you charted it out for him, as you whiteboard it for him, it would click. It would, like anybody who's in economics or trading, it would click. And so, I'm bullish.
I was having a conversation with one of my best friends. He's a financial advisor, and I was going over it with him. And at first, he was giving me this blank stare, and then after a little bit, I saw the light bulb go off, and his words were just, his mouth fell open, and he goes, "Holy shit!" Like he finally understood really what was going on. I was like, yeah, this could be enormous. So
yeah, and that same thing I'm seeing is like when it clicks, you just see that light bulb go on, and and that is the signal of any good idea, and any world changing idea is like that aha moment, which I had myself. So when you have it yourself, you know that it's there.
Yeah.
In addition to that, another simple way to look at this Statera project as a whole is looking at the index itself. The project is about making investments very, very easy and simple for investors, at least to an average investor who doesn't care about the tech, but only cares about the money, maximizing profits. And we also aim to produce an investment with a decrease in volatility of the current cryptocurrency market, which is one of the major obstacle cryptocurrency investment is facing right now. Because most investors will say, okay, I'm not investing in cryptocurrency because it's highly volatile and so on and so forth. So the idea is to make it less volatile and easily accessible. That is where the idea of the BPT is really, really interesting, because when you own STA and you actually contribute to the pool, you are direct or indirectly investing in WBTs. I mean the BTC, ETH, and SNX and the link. So if any of those projects should go to Mars, you are there, and if STA goes to Mars, you are also there. So we are still trying to find a more simple way to explain this to an average investors out there. We believe it's one of the reasons why we don't have the attention we deserve at the moment. Probably the way we've been presenting it is still complicated for people to grasp. And trust me, we are really working behind the scenes to make sure that an average investor get the idea of what is really happening, and so we can invite and attract more investors from the outside world.
Well, yeah, power to you. Good luck as well, because you guys are kicking up a lot of dust. There's definitely a lot of people paying attention to you. If imitation is the highest form of flattery, you're definitely starting to be imitated. And it's interesting that a lot of people that would once be invested in you are even interested in trying to create their own versions of what you guys are doing. But I want to congratulate you guys, of course, and give just a little bit of honor and respect for having the first mover advantage. There's always something to be said about the minds that can, create something like this. There's a lot of people that they can come and try to catch up with what you guys are doing, but much respect is always going to go to the original minds formatting the thought process. And I wish you guys all luck in continuing to develop and, keep your edge. And it sounds like you guys have a great team as well. And that, even though the things can be really simple, is usually when you have these great simple things, there is a good, simple, and a positive collaborative force behind them as far as the team. It definitely sounds like you guys are having are all, it sounds like you guys are all very, very mature about this project and just have good intentions between each other. And it seems like there's a very positive and open and also professional air between you guys, and I appreciate that very much, just hearing from you guys and getting a little bit more insight today. And we're glad you guys took the opportunity as well to come hang out. So we do have some people in the chat that are asking questions. If you guys aren't against, they are questions. Does somebody want to read the questions for me? Who do we got from the team that the questions in the general?
Yeah, and I would say if Paul's already answered it in the chat, let's leave those in the chat. But if there's ones that haven't been answered in chat, definitely shout them out.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I actually, my question, I guess, would just be kind of confirmation for some of us. I kind of touched on it before, but maybe just that kind of the best strategy, seeing as we have large bag holders. We are all on the top 2 or 3 pages of the holders. So, I was kind of thinking a good strategy for us is, as things are 2 and 3 and 4 and 5x and whatever, we've already seen it on this coin. Now that we have the liquidity pool available, scaling out into that, maybe you don't actually hurt the price as much. And then as things are, coming down to low points, you're actually moving into more acquiring more Statera at that time, and out of the liquidity pool, if that makes sense. Just to kind of ride those highs and lows and also be hedged at the same time. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, that's definitely the ideal, that you are adding to the balancing pools. You're going up in STA price and then getting out of the balancing pool and buying more STA when it goes down. The pool will do that automatically for you, but you can, increase that buying low and selling high. But I would also say, think about dollar cost averaging, thinking about having your points and saying, 5% I'm going to put in the pool here, 5% I'm going to put in the pool here. And have those checkpoints that you're going to keep. And then the same on the way down. Every time we go down 10%, I'm going to take this much out of the pool, and have those numbers set for you. And just like in any investment, that dollar cost averaging and not trying to time it, not trying to hit that one moment is what's going to give you the best returns. So yeah, I would highly implore anybody to think about their plan and act.
That's the thing that I kind of want to formulate for a lot of our investors here, is just like a good strategy so that no one is over leveraged on any of these positions. A lot of these things can go up really quickly, and there's this euphoria that kicks in. So I just want a good way to communicate to our investors how we can kind of all keep our level heads and use these products the most efficiently. So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sick. Paul, go through if there's anything within the questions that you want to address, because I'm not sure what exactly here you have addressed or not. So real quick, do you want to shoot at a couple of these things? Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. Oh, you were saying, yeah, I think Paul's mic might have stopped working. Let me DM him and see.
Yeah, if Paul wants to go ahead and just, maybe vocalize something.
I know that there was one question, and I'm assuming that it might be on your roadmap. It was just from one of our subscribers here. He asked me earlier. It was surrounding Kyber, and if there's anything you could touch on with Kyber. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, currently we have many priorities we're working on, and some of them are higher order than getting on something like Kyber or a centralized exchange at this very moment. There's some basics that we're trying to tool out first, but it is an active discussion between us, and we're actively engaging in talks with many exchanges, and we're really focused on, right now, number one is marketing and education. Getting the roadmap and the light paper out, getting more products and offerings and making those higher quality. And, with that, I also would put forth, and this might be, too tinfoil hat, but Kyber has been a big focus. And, I would ask why that exchange is so focused on, and a possibility is that its application process is very specific and public, and people know that it's not in line with the project currently. Right. So it's a perfect FUD tool. And right. When you look at DEX volume, it's like 220, right? And when you look at Uniswap, it's 198. So we're already on a bigger exchange. And something like Loopring or DYDX or IDEX, and some of those aren't even supporting really any tokens outside of like DYDX is very curated. Thinking about those bigger decentralized exchanges and those bigger volume exchanges, it's just I would call it out as interesting that Kyber is such a focus. That being said, we want to be on every exchange, and that is one that is on our roadmap and we're thinking about.
Right. There was like a lot of talk about it, and I couldn't really wrap my head. I was like, I don't know. I don't really think that this is such a massive deal that people are making it. Okay. Let me just ask the question. So I would like to hear if you guys can share more about your marketing strategy that's going to be going forward. Have you guys reached out to anybody, advertisers or YouTubers, or is there anything that we can put together for you guys?
Also, is there any more on-chain, potential on-chain marketing we might see as well?
Yeah, regarding marketing, the team is working actively, to be honest. And in a few days, you are going to notice one of these activeness from the team. Currently, we are in talk of some influencers that can help promote the project, to the big investors out there, and we are having a form of progress with them. Honestly, we are having a form of progress. So, coupled with other things we are currently doing right now, we just want to take it one step at a time. And like I said, we are much more focused on the project development and marketing. So that is the current phase we are in right now. In the next couple of days and in the next couple of weeks, the community is going to see a change in these regards.
Amazing. Sounds good. One coin market cap.
Yeah, that is another thing that is definitely on our radar and something that we are actively working on. But again, if we look at CoinMarketCap versus getting on, a top 5 YouTubers channel, we would prioritize getting on a top 5 YouTubers channel. And one thing that's exciting when we're reaching out to these people and asking them to, look into our project, seeing it click for them and seeing how quickly they latch on. Has been really exciting to see, and we are actively working with people, and I put this in the AMA, but content creators don't. I mean, good ones, leading ones, they don't pump out a video in 2 days, and they already have a full docket that they need to work through, and things that they have already committed to, and so you will see this start paying off as time goes on. But right now, we're really focused on the marketing as education, and educating more crypto holders to the value proposition here, and looking at our own marketing streams and how we make those into more education focused, so that they get the vision, because that's what needs to happen. It needs to click. And you've already seen a couple of small time YouTube people just pick it up for free and just run with it and do some great things. And I think you'll continue to see an organic marketing happen.
That was actually our doing. Okay, so yeah, we grabbed your coin and we put it to a couple of our favorite YouTubers. If you check out some of the videos you guys got, Sir Crypto, King of FOMO, yeah, those are guys from our team. I think we got Trayvon on the ball for a little bit, got him excited about it again a couple times. Yeah, man, we know everybody.
Well, thank you for that so much. Bless up on that.
No problem.
I stream this live, actually. I'm actually streaming this live right now on Twitch. Just FYI.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
And that is the point, right? That's the point of this whole project. That's why it's decentralized. Us as a team will not make the things that you're going to see on our roadmap happen. We as a community are going to make it happen. No one person on our team, Scott, Paul, Abu, me, none of us are superhuman. The only thing that is superhuman is hundreds, thousands, millions of humans working together. That is superhuman. That is what creates a wave. And so that is what needs to happen. And that's why we don't have an Emergo. That's why we don't have a Justin Sun. You see the negatives of those things when you're having very centralized vision setters or very centralized decision makers who can only be in one meeting at a time. But if we give it to the people and you are the owners of this product, then somebody has a relationship with this marketer, somebody has a relationship with this financial person, and they are creating the buzz for us, and they are spreading the message, which is just so much more powerful than having, Ripple CEO jump on to, your favorite blog and talk about what he wants to do and what he's going to see happen. We got into cryptocurrency, not so Jamie Dimon could do what he wants with our money and tell us how he's going to make money with our money. We got into cryptocurrency so that we could control the mission, the vision, the direction. And we're new, so we need that centralization right now, and we need a push to start. But decentralization is definitely the long-term plan. And there's just so much power in that. That's why Bitcoin is what it is because it's decentralized. That's where the power comes from, literally. And I would point that out too. Bitcoin is as decentralized as you can get. Who got Bitcoin on Coinbase? Who got Bitcoin on Binance, right? And obviously it was the first mover and the best. And obviously that's a bit of a stretch of a connection. But I will say that decentralization does create some real power. And even something like Ethereum with the Ethereum Foundation, it's still very decentralized, and it is very ran by the community, even with the foundation that helps with direction somewhat. But the miners can still vote, and we saw that with the gas fees and things like that. they can still, run the network. And we want to strive for that decentralization because we see that is so much more powerful than saying, this team of 10 is the people that you're going to turn to for your finances, and we're going to tell you what you're going to pay or what you're going to do or how you're going to do it. And so, yeah, I would just put that forward and put that out there that thank you for that so much. Like, seriously, you guys are what makes this happen. And that's why the project's so beautiful. And that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
In addition, we were surprised when we saw different videos popping up about Statera, influencers we never contacted, making a video about Statera, explaining what Statera is, even beyond what we can actually do in a short term. It was really, really amazing. And it gives us a lot of hope and, psychological support that, yeah, we're actually on the right path. We're actually doing the right thing. We really appreciate you for that. We thank you on behalf of the team. We really, really thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We got you. Yeah, we're excited as well.
Would you like to go through these questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think we have a backlog of questions people have been asking. The first one is actually by your first clone, the developer behind Stonks. He's asking, if you don't mind me putting forward his question, why does the Statera liquidity mining pool for balancer tokens have a 1% swap fee? Balancer token rewards for each pool are weighted by 3 factors, the fee factor, the ratio factor, and the wrap factor. Having a 1% swap fee lowers the fee factor dramatically, and thus balancer rewards in general for the pool from 300% ROL to 240% ROL. Now, with this knowledge, why was such a high swap fee chosen for this liquidity mining pool? Thanks a lot. If you didn't make out what I said, the question is in the general room, the general channel.
Yeah, and honestly, this would be a better answer for Paul, and I wish he was on voice right now, but his mic's not working. But he actually did answer it, so I'll really just read his out, just so people who aren't in chat can see the answer. But we use that 1% as the original pool because the fees generated from it create a larger value proposition for the BPT token and the appreciation therein of, which you've seen with how valuable our BPT token is currently. And it was tried and tested. We tested a lot with the, this is we're dropping something early here. He dropped it already, but it's called Statera Alpha. That's what we're naming our first fund, Statera Alpha, to give it a more cachet, and to start naming our product. And then our next one is called Statera Liquidity, a very eponymous name. And so we did analysis to see what the value gain would be in the Alpha pool. From the fees that make up a significant part of that and the current value of that BPT token. And so the BAL rewards are an important addition to the ROI, but it's not the main one. And you got to remember, we made Statera before balancer rewards, and so with the whitelisting contention of the balancer rewards, we didn't even make Statera with that in mind, right? That was all a bonus on top of Statera was already a working product and it was already going to produce ROI for people before that. And so with that 20% reduction in bouncer rewards, that's going to be a negative of 20%. But again, if we were seeing 18% monthly returns and we go down to 13%, that 20% reduction, you're still seeing close to 100% just off of the ROI from balancer tokens alone. And so just to sum that answer up, we tested it with multiple fee ratios, and that 1% was a sweet spot for making the BPT token as valuable as possible, while still continuing to produce the ROI through other arbitrage and trades and things like that.
Perfect. And you actually covered the second question posted by the same person with your answer just now, which is, we know that the Balancer protocol is currently talking about delisting us, specifically for BAL token rewards due to our deflating nature concerning exploitation of the Balancer's gulp function. How should we come about solving this issue? As I said, I think you just covered that nicely. I just wanted to put that out there for whoever's listening on voice and not reading these questions.
Well, I actually will say I did not cover that specifically, but if you go to Balancer pools and their token requests, please go there and read my response. I did give a response there, derelict. That gulp vulnerability is like such a rare and specific case that it's bordering on a red herring to say that is the issue. That being said, if it did happen to users, explaining that to users and making it right would be a black mark on balancer pools. But there are such simple, well, not simple. The coding in the back end is going to take a while. But you just put a warning if someone holds more than 90% of the liquidity. This pool, here are the risks, right? And that just pops up when you try to add liquidity to a pool where someone's holding more than 90%. Or if this is, I think, the best solution, if someone is holding more than 90% of the liquidity and they try to pull all of their liquidity, you force them to pay the fee. You put in a smart contract that if they hold more than 90%, then whatever the deflationary token is, it's kept in the pool to pay for the fee, so that they can't create that gulp or create that arbitrage opportunity for themselves. And just to clarify what that opportunity is, if you hold 99.5% of the pool's liquidity and the burn rate is 1%, that means 0.5% can't be covered of the burn because the other people in the pool don't have enough value to cover that burn. And honestly, I don't know the inner workings of why they would have to cover the burn or why the smart contract is that way. I'm not that deep in the code, but that is what happens. And it is true that is something you could abuse against someone else, but you would have to hold, for Statera, 99.0001, whatever, more than 99% of the pool liquidity, with everyone else knowing that and have people put in the other 1% for you to pull the rug on them. It's such a specific and unlikely scenario. So I think, with a small tweak, we can make it not a non-issue.
Perfect. Does anyone else have any questions they want to bring forward?
Do we have anybody else in the voice chat that may want to ask
We've
a
got
question?
tons of people on the voice chat. But,
Respectfully.
It's like one of the largest voice chats we've had. It's got to be someone that's got something to ask.
Respectfully, of course. Thank
I
you.
have a question. Where is Scott? I usually don't see him around in the telegrams too often.
Yeah, and I think I spoke to this when I talked about decentralization and, that idea of, who is Satoshi? We are Satoshi. Everyone's Satoshi. And if Satoshi had stuck around and continued to be that face and continue to talk on Bitcoin, I think there would have been a lot of power loss there. And if he had started a Bitcoin foundation, there would have been a lot of power loss there. And even if you look at Ethereum's founding, they made some smart moves about making it more decentralized and centralized. And that's the bet we're making. We're making the bet that a decentralized, we are handing off to the community a deflationary index fund. That's a brand new financial instrument. And we've made the choice to hand it off to the community and see what decentralization does for it. And so the more that you have someone step in, or the more you have someone take on that CEO role, or the more you have them become a vector for power, or for legislators, or for regulations, or for legal issues. I'm not a lawyer. This isn't advice. But if you look at why something like Ethereum is not labeled as security, is because of how decentralized their origin story is, and the SEC gave them a pass, and so the more decentralized you are from the get-go, and the less that we try to put forward this idea of somebody running this or it being an ICO or whatever it is, because it's not, it's decentralized from the root. I think the more power we'll have globally, and the easier it will be to grow and to build that community and actually make this more powerful than if Scott was in there every day and Scott was, opening his checkbook every day, getting on CNN and talking. Again, there's definitely power in that, but we're making the bet that in this space and in decentralized finance, the real bet, the real future is decentralization. And so it is an intentional choice. But obviously, as you've seen, he has been linked to the project at this point. So I will say that is a benefit because he's a baller in this space. If you look at his resume, you look at what he's done. So anything goes wrong here, that's going to be on his resume, even if he doesn't want it to be. People will still link it, even if it's not directly. People can still see that, and this space is small. And would he want to be the starter of a brand new asset class that is a leading product, or would he want to be the leader of something that crashes and burns and becomes some contentious thing? And so, as with everyone in this environment, we are all incentivized to make this product work. That's what decentralization does. And so he's incentivized to be involved just like every other holder of STA. And we want to keep that, the ethos, and keep that the mindset. And so it's an intentional choice.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think there was.
STA team, you guys good on time, or do you want to like wrap this up? I know you probably have schedules behind you, just so we can like have an idea of how much longer people have an opportunity to ask their questions.
I mean, yeah, 1 to 3 more questions would be fine.
All right, so good questions.
You hear me? Does Scott's role as CEO of DZAR prevent the incorporation of Statera in the future?
Yeah, thank you. Lots of questions on Scott. Oh yeah, is someone else taking it? Okay, so I will say that no, it doesn't. Like 100%. There are ways around that, and ways we've already talked about, and that could easily happen. STA again. I'm sorry to keep chiding on this, but it is built for the community. Scott was definitely a starter and someone who got it going. But right now, it is being developed by us. I'm just someone who jumped on and saw the vision and wanted to help out. And so incorporation is possible, even without Scott as the owner, right? We could have, you could be CEO, 6K, you could be CEO maybe. Don't let it, let's not go too far. But
I'm the CEO.
Yeah.
I'm the CEO of Statera's. I am Statera's ambassador. You know what I'm saying? When you see Princess Diana and she comes, riding in that white limousine, I like to imagine myself.
A follow-up question.
Because I'm a creative person.
Does that mean that Scott isn't going to be the leader, the future for Statera?
I feel like that's been clearly answered at this point.
There ain't no leader. 6K Statera's the leader. She trades herself. She's a beautiful queen empress, and she shall be addressed as such.
Everyone is a leader. Just to please a little bit of clarification.
A lot of people.
Statera.
Go ahead.
Statera, as mentioned by Derek, was built to be a community project. So at this point in time, at this junction, it's really onto the community. Whether or not Statera is a CEO of any other project is not really Statera's problem anymore, because it's in the hand of the community. The community are developing the projects. It's not,
She's an independent bitch.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as the contract's immutable. It can't be turned off. It's decentralized. So those are the things that really matter. Can the code be changed? As far as I can see, it cannot.
Yes, the code is immutable. It can be changed, and it has been audited by hacking.
So whoever the leader is, it really is kind of irrelevant. It's everyone's the leader at this point.
The contract.
100.
I think it's a little funny that people they're talking about, the same people that were excited about this and are holding it back, they're the same ones that they want to be more excited about something else, but really they're trying to dig holes into something that that they like, and they understand how it works. They're trying to find something to be upset about when what I try to do is I try to focus on what's unique and interesting about this thing, which is that this thing is an autonomous organism that's doing its thing. It doesn't, a lot of this, so some of this is going to be dependent on the market ourselves, and of course people are here with a motive and they want to affect that market because they may have some ulterior motive. But if you feel pretty positively about it, there's a lot of confidence to be had in a coin that is also having mechanisms to scale itself to create common interests between people, as opposed to a lot of the coins you're holding that don't have some of these mechanisms. They don't have these burn mechanisms and the combination with the balancer. So it's just like, it's just I don't know. There's fun behind it too. There's some fun to be had, playing with Statera and speculating on it. And I think people that want to have a bad time, they're just going to find a way to have a bad time. But I see this as something that's a little bit more than decent, a little above average, and I'm definitely still interested. It's definitely still going to be a top bag holder, and accumulating as much Statera as I can as the bouncer accumulates it. And I think there's a funny thing too, that people that maybe want fast gains, they're not seeing the fast gains anymore. So of course that's one thing. But then also the people that don't trade, or the people that don't have a trade plan or accumulation strategy, it may be kind of frustrating to some people because they're trying to, game the system. But that's also the fun of it is, if you have your own balanced trading strategy, it's fun. There's good spreads in this coin. There's really good spreads in the volatility and a lot of opportunities to earn. And for somebody that, has those skills, I'd say most of those people are feeling pretty positive. And most of the people that I know within my community and on our team, which I consider to be probably one of the best trade communities in DeFi, period, no cap. Yeah, we're having a great time.
Yeah, and I would say in the early days of the project, you did see people saying, oh, this is just bomb in a index fund. There's no value proposition here. What is the value of Statera itself? In the early days, right? And there was a lot of FUD around that. But now it's where's the CEO? Where's the foundation? Why aren't we on Kyber? Why they're no longer they're no longer questioning the value proposition, because it's been proven. We have our bouncer rewards, we have the fees that have been paid to our pool, we have the size of our pool, how quickly that size has grown. And so it's just, if you look at the FUD, it's actually trending bullish. They tried to call out the value proposition, but then they realized, oh shit, there is value here. What else can I poke a hole in? What else can I troll on? And so I think as you see their attacks become more baseless, all that means is that they're stopping. They don't see anything else they can poke at anymore. And so I think that's one of the most bullish trends, is that you don't even see people anymore saying there's no value here, because that's been proven. And if that's proven and you're one of the first to see it, I mean, the future could be bright for you, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
I actually have a quick question, if you don't mind me asking. In your opinion, what is better, just holding your Statera to make profits, or actually adding to the bouncer pool? Because I was reading about adding Statera to the bouncer pool actually encourages the bouncer pool to sell more Statera, which would bring down the price.
So you broke up a little bit there. What was the question?
To put it simply, is what would be your what do you think is better, to make profits holding Statera, to actually just hold it and watch the token value appreciate, or to add it to the balancer pool? Because I was reading that if you add Statera to the balancer pool, it encourages the balancer pool to sell Statera, which would bring down its price.
Correct. If you add to the balancer, sorry, what?
It will only affect the price if you contribute to the liquidity pool with STA, because once you add to the pool with STA, the scanners will have to sell those STA into other tokens in the index. So the best is to pool with either Link or WATH, and I think it's easy to do that now with the Balancers One Asset Pool protocol. So it's just something that has to do with pooling with STA alone. But if it is pooled with other assets, I think it's fine. There's nothing wrong, definitely. But to address the question whether to hold or to add, it's something we cannot answer. We leave it at the investor's discretion, to observe the project and decide, okay, I'm going to hold, or I'm going to add, or okay, I can just be in both at the same time. So that is really left to the investor's decision.
Okay, nice. So basically, if you have Statera, hold that yogi, and if you think of add some of the other tokens, like perhaps Link or WETH or Bitcoin. Perfect.
Yeah, correct. And for me personally, not financial advice, but for me personally, it was a way to diversify my Link. Now diversify my compound tokens. They saw a huge bull run, so you lock in those gains for compound. And so for me, that's exactly how I looked at it. It was a way to lock in gains with the other, now, 5 other tokens, 6, 7 tokens that we have that you can lock in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? I think we've taken enough of the STA time.
That's cool. I got one more 6K question. When moon?
When do the people see the vision? Is the answer? When do the people see the vision? That's when wins.
Well, for people to see the vision, you just have to get it out there. I mean, it has to be talked about on Cointelegraph, on some of the bigger YouTubes, on some of the bigger Twitters, for example. That's the only way that you can get the mass hype that you need for this project to grow into extraordinary potential.
Do we have a channel? All these YouTube stuff we could send.
Yeah, on that note, it's really something we are really working on. Trust me, we really are working on that. It's very funny. During the first 2 weeks of the project, we got an article by Publisher X talking about the 6 DeFi projects with interesting token economics. And it was so nice to see Statera be mentioned in the article. I was like, okay, so some people have already thought about the project and they already know where this is going in the future. It's really interesting to see. Fortunately at that time, a lot was going on, and the article was not really received by the majority of the community. Probably we will share this article in our community so that other people or new investors can read on it and understand more how big the project is or where the project is headed.
Someone recommends on our general to approach Ivan on Tech with an information pack about Statera, because somebody mentioned it in his Q&A today, and he has a lot of influence on big crypto communities. So
he also really likes index funds and bouncer pools and DeFi projects are his.
So it'd be a good idea, yeah, to hit up Ivan on Tech.
You guys could maybe consider some on-chain marketing. Maybe do some airdrops to some big holders, distribute some nice bits of tokens to people so people can see some whale token distributions to some nice wallets. Distribute up the whale wallets. I know concern of some people, the primary holders and stuff, and distributing tokens and getting other big people and Ethereum users and things interested is not a bad way to do some on-chain marketing.
Yeah, giveaways. So, I mean, even just on me, and I'm just a holder. I'm just a top holder of the coin. And what I've been doing just with anybody in my line of friends that is willing to get into crypto, earning crypto, download a MetaMask wallet, I'm sending them STA. Just sending them 1,000 STA. Just here you go. Watch this, because it's such a good word of mouth. So the airdropping of it, I really like what Six just was talking about. Giveaway.
Now that you guys are mentioning it, I just have this idea. I'm just personally going to fund myself from my own wallet. I'm just going to donate some amount of Statera tokens and randomly distribute it to probably over 1,000 addresses or over 2,000 addresses on the Ethereum blockchain as a form of advertisement for Statera. I don't know if that is a good idea, but it's something I really, really wish to try and see.
I'll tell you an even better idea. We got 600 wallets in the 6Ks. Go ahead and send us 600 of the tokens. We'll come out here. We'll promote these tokens. We'll run the ball. We'll run the ball, baby. Throw the ball this way. We'll run it.
Yeah, thank you.
I recommend, if you're thinking of distributing tokens as an airdrop, is to consider intelligently which
good holders.
Because if you're sending them to random people, what they will do is have tokens, let me just sell them. Whereas if you do it in a more thought out method, you are creating more holders and they will be interested in buying potentially more.
Definitely giveaways and marketing bounties are another good way to do it too. If you guys want to initiate a marketing bounty with giveaways, we've been waiting to go crazy. We do Medium articles, we do blog posts, 4chan memes, all types of stuff. So if you guys go think about it, if you guys have an allocation or larger bounty that you want to, put out there, we can subcontract it for you. And, of course, you guys can look at content and, make approvals, and we can get some of these guys. There's a lot of guys here that be willing to help build assets and promote. So, that goes a long way too. We have YouTubers as well.
Thank you very much for the advice. We will look into that. Like I said, we will really look into doing something of that. And
For sure, man. For sure. So
I'm gonna get some extra advice to the STA team. Just take this as brotherly advice. Never let the momentum die, because you've seen the current Uniswap community. People don't have a very large attention span. Like, they'll get bored within a few days and they will sell and move on to something else. You've got to keep actively engaging people so that they keep thinking about Statera, rather than be like, oh, I bought Statera, I'll sell it now and I'll move on to something else, and they completely forget about it. That's what a lot of projects do, and that's their biggest mistake. And they don't recover from that phase where there's just nothing happening, because they're not thinking about the token anymore. What you want to do is,
luckily you guys have a hedge for that too.
Oh, let me look at Statera.
But luckily you do have a hedge for that as well, because the balancer contract as well will continue to create interest itself, at the same time. But that's a good point also, is distributing that energy and that marketing to other people, inviting, the hype from the community. And then I think also you could that you can you can invite other, because it's decentralized, right, and open source. Theoretically, you guys could invite, community development too. You guys, I mean, what are the potentials for developments on top of the blockchain? I mean, if you guys could put it out there to people like, hey, tinker with this thing. What can you guys build on top of this thing? Is there what is the compatibility for people to be building on top of the Statera chain for other dApps and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely there, right? It's a totally released smart contract that anybody can integrate into any product. Into the AMA, you saw me drop some possibilities of how people might use it. How do you use Statera in a loan? What is a deflationary loan? How do you combine it with real world assets? What does that do? And we are 100% behind that. And that is something that will be integrated into the roadmap for sure. And we 100% support that. And if you got a great idea, or you have a product, or have something that you want to, see go through the main channels, please reach out to us and let us know. But the opportunity for innovation is definitely there, above and beyond our own innovation. So that is something we will 100% support, and is 100% a possibility.
I think another thing for you guys is, because you have such a disruptive financial product, just spreading the awareness to other investors and people. Like, I think we're going to see a lot of big whales and big, financial investors. Like, for instance, we've shared it with a couple of our other large developer friends who were ignoring the aspects of Balancer and other things like that. And when they saw what you guys had and we sent them some tokens, they actually got pretty excited. And, I think a lot of minnows don't get it, but the opportunity to have a decentralized index fund and hedge your whole portfolio, have a position of your assets that's almost, certified, has mechanisms to certify that it's gaining and growing while you're doing other things, is fucking amazing. And a lot of these other bigger investors get it. I think a lot of this is just going to be the awareness for a lot of these big crypto investors and stuff. Just get involved, get these people excited, because also, not only that, you guys have the hype within the grassroots community, but you guys can also have the posture to identify with some of these energies of these more conservative, I guess, thinking investors. And I think this is a really great product for people like that as well, and for those communities and followers of influencers in those communities as well.
For sure. And oh yeah, that's why we look at marketing as education, and we really think of all of our marketing through the lens. And you'll see that. Look at our releases and look at how they walk people through and give them step by steps. And we'll continue to do that. And roadmap and light paper at the top of our list. And once those get released and you're able to send those to your friends, that will be a whole nother level of education and legitimacy that will get us that next leg up. So we're definitely, our mind is there, and thanks for the feedback.
Amazing. Well, you want to take us out, Con? Is there anybody left looming? Anybody that wants any real quick, open up the chat real quick for the team. Everybody want to show appreciation, quick comments, insights, and we'll let these guys run after what they got to do.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming in and doing all this. This was great. This was, I mean, the chat is live and people are happy that all these questions are answered, and just thank you guys very much.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
guys.
Thank you for having
We
us.
appreciate it.
And I'm buying
Yeah,
another.
thank
I'm
you so much.
buying another bag. You know, the only frustration is the Uniswap V2 not accounting for the burn, right? So everybody's been having trouble buying and selling, but I think we got that basically figured out. Maybe an infographic for the community, real quick. But is that something that we could see being fixed? I don't mind because I'm
Yeah,
buying right now, anyways.
yeah, we have a little video on that on our Telegram channel. If you go to our Telegram channel, there is a form of GIF to explain how you can easily buy STA from Uniswap.
Perfect. Also, could we invite some of your community members to be here, hold strong support with us? We're big investors. So if you guys want to send some community delegates over here, share all the information with us, things like that. Videos we'll be posting, pinning, resharing, and we can just continue to help build the energy around this product. 6Ks are behind you. We like Statera. It was still my 6K pick of the month. I'm standing behind it. I'm enjoying it. Fucking love it. And yeah, we just want to invite you guys in here to continue to collaborate and update us. And you know, we definitely swarm. We eat those stuffs up. We're active investors. So if you guys feel like your community is just sitting around looking at things, reading the updates, we'll definitely take them and digest them and swirl them and spit them back out somewhere. We like to stay active. So
For sure, absolutely. And one more plug: if you're buying STA, try to buy it from the Balancer exchange too. Sometimes slippage is pretty poor, but if it's not, you're buying straight from Thanos, so that's the best place to buy right now. So also use that Balancer exchange.
could somebody drop the link to the Balancer exchange, how to buy Statera from the Balancer exchange?
I literally just dropped a link when you said that. So
Yeah, we noticed that the Balancer pool link was it wasn't working the other day. One more thing to the Balancer. How is the Balancer growing still? I know it seemed like we kind of had a support level within the Balancer. Are we seeing the Balancer start to become scale its liquidity again as far as
Yeah,
possible?
we're
I think the
500,000.
interesting thing for us to see is that maybe a lot of the liquidity providers had pulled out, right? So now I think we're getting to see kind of like a truer metric of what the Balancer pool may be supporting itself and scaling itself on its own is. So I think this is actually a really exciting time to see the growth here from like 30, I believe 3.600 thousand, right?
Yeah, it was like 36,000 when we first started talking about this, I think, and then it went to. I mean, we're at like 470,000 now. And the problem that I was having with the Balancer yesterday, it was actually a Brave browser problem, and it works fine on Chrome. So, yeah.
Why do we use not Uniswap? What's the difference?
Say it again.
Why do we use the Balancer rather than Uniswap? I just don't know the difference.
I think it was communicated that sometimes you could have a better slippage on that. You're buying right from Thanos, you're going to be able to have a better price. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pulling Thanos.
It's all about-
Oh, sorry.
All right, you can go on, Derek.
Sorry. But yeah, so when you buy STA, you're buying from Thanos, and so if he sells the STA, then you have to use Link and WBTC and WETH to buy more Statera. So you're creating almost a double buy. And I just put the link in there. You have to go to the Bouncer.exchange, not the pools, and then put in our contract address just above me. Tranquilizer put it there. And that's how you trade on Balancer. It's not the one-click liquidity adding. You're actually transferring ETH for new STA.
So for those that we'll actually post that in the Statera feed. If you guys go downstairs,
anyone new on the stream?
If you guys go downstairs to the which is basically our tabloid section, the Uniswap bangers and smart contract killers, you'll see a feed for all tokens that we talk about and are interested in. So in Statera is actually where, if you guys want to drop all that info, I can copy and paste, and we'll be pinning some of that stuff in there now, so you guys can access that. Copy this, throw that in there. Just going forward for whoever's new, and whoever is new, you guys are invited to hang out in the community. If you guys really want to get into the contribution and get the real, the real benefits you can get from the server, definitely get in the subs area where, we have people that are energetically on a higher spectrum of wanting to contribute and wanting to gain value from this place. For everyone else, you guys are welcome to hang along and just please respect the space. This is a respectful space, and you know we do have a moat and we do have a dungeon. All right.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. You are what makes this project happen. So thank you, everyone, everyone watching, listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We're excited for the future.
Thank you, guys.
Real quick before you guys go, and we're gonna send you guys off with some good vibes, 6K snaps, because we need you guys to go do what you need to do, pump these bags, baby. But listen, real quick, Abu, before you go, I need to hear you say it. Okay. Who named the contract, by the way? Who named the contract?
The contract name is from Scott himself. He named Statera, and I came up with Index Deflationary Token (IDT).
Okay. Well, there's one thing that's the 6Ks came up with for you, baby, and we need to see it. We all want to hear you say it once before you leave. Is Princess Empress Sexy Sarah Statera, please.
Derelict, are you there?
yeah. You don't want this immortalized that you said this. Please say it again. I did.
This is the magic. This is the magic right here. Come on, you gotta say
Can someone type it into chat so I can read it?
Yeah, here. Okay. Well, you want us to type it? Oh, we'll type it out for you. We'll spell it out for you loud and clear. Princess. That's Princess, Empress, Queen. Okay. Sexy, Sarah or Sarah, whichever you like, depending on if you're Eastern or Western. Statara. Okay. Here we go. Here it is. It's in Statera.
Did someone type it out yet?
It's in Statera. I'll put it. I'm in.
Okay, Statera channel, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Come on, Abu. We want to hear you say it. Bro.
Okay.
Call her by her royal name.
Okay, that is what you want.
Yes.
Princess, Empress, Queen, Sexy, Sarah, Statera.
Everybody
Come
say
on.
it. Everybody else
Princess, Empress, Queen,
baby.
Give them a round of applause, guys.
Moon, baby. We'll see you guys on the moon. We're gonna snap you guys all the way out of here till you guys log off. Moon, baby. Statara Moon. We demanded our AMA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get out of here. Pump our bags. We love you. Good shit.
We're on it.
We love you. And that's been a 6K session. Tap the fuck in. Join the server wherever you see this. Like, subscribe. Get an AMA. Learn how to trade. The best damn community in DeFi. And we don't got to say it once, twice, because it's already been said 6 times. And we're out. That's it. It's a wrap. Cut it. Cut the stream.